Sometimes the most ordinary lives hide the darkest secrets. Emily Harper was just a quiet teacher from a small town, until the day she vanished without a trace. What happened to her? Was it a random disappearance, or did someone want her silenced forever? This is a story about the hidden shadows lurking beneath peaceful facades, and the clues that refuse to be found. Emily Harper was the kind of woman whose presence quietly shaped a community. A beloved middle school teacher, a devoted daughter, and a trusted friend, she had never been involved in anything controversial or out of the ordinary. People described her as kind-hearted, responsible, and steady. A woman with a life full of simple routines and small joys. So, when Emily disappeared, one summer evening, it shocked the entire town. There were no screams, no signs of struggle, no ransom notes or frantic messages. Only a silence that swallowed the truth whole. That day began like any other. Emily woke early and kissed her parents goodbye before leaving the house. She stopped at the grocery store to pick up a few things and even called her best friend Sarah for a quick chat. Their conversation was warm but unremarkable, filled with talk of books and plans for the weekend. Then Emily vanished. Her car was found abandoned near the local park, her purse and keys left untouched inside. No one saw her leave. No one knew where she had gone. The police searched everywhere. Her house was intact, no sign of forced entry or struggle. Surveillance cameras in the area were incomplete, and what footage existed was damaged or missing crucial moments. Witnesses could only recall vague glimpses. Emily walking alone near the park shortly before sunset. Then a dark vehicle pulling up, a shadowy figure emerging. After that, the footage cut out. It was as if Emily had stepped into the shadows and never returned. Days turned into weeks, and the investigation stalled. Emily's phone was off, bank accounts untouched, no social media activity. It was as if she had evaporated. The town whispered theories, some dark, some hopeful, but none had answers. Friends and family clung to hope, but feared the worst. The case went cold. Then, nearly a year later, strange messages appeared on Emily's social media accounts. Cryptic, fearful texts sent in her name. "They're watching me. I can't trust anyone. I'm running out of time." Digital. Experts confirmed these were genuine posts from Emily's device. The mystery deepened. Who was they? And why was Emily terrified? Investigators learned that Emily had been hiding a secret. She had started seeing a man named Mark Thompson, a local businessman whose reputation teetered between respectable and ruthless. Emily had met Mark at a women's shelter where she volunteered. Mark was a donor, but their relationship had grown complicated. Phone records showed frequent calls, late-night meetings, whispered arguments. Mark denied involvement in her disappearance, but his evasiveness only fueled suspicion. As police dug deeper, they found anonymous letters sent to Emily's family. The letters were cryptic warnings. The truth lies where the light cannot reach. Some secrets are better buried. The handwriting was deliberately messy, the messages chilling. Someone wanted to talk, but was afraid to be found. Years later, new forensic methods uncovered DNA on a scarf near the park. DNA belonging to an unknown individual. This discovery revived the case and brought fresh hope. A retired detective, remembered a mysterious phone call hinting Emily might have been taken out of state. Authorities began to investigate a hidden network of safe houses connected to the local criminal underworld. Emily's family became relentless advocates, pushing for justice despite threats and fear. The town remained divided. Some protected the powerful, others silenced by intimidation. The truth about Emily's fate remained hidden in missing clues. But beneath the silence, the hope for answers never died. Emily's disappearance shook the community in ways no one could have predicted. As weeks turned to months, the initial frenzy died down, replaced by a creeping sense of unease. People began whispering in hushed tones about what might have happened. Had Emily run away? Was it foul play? Or something even darker? The police followed every lead they had, but none panned out. No ransom demands came, no credible sightings, just an endless void where Emily's life once was. What complicated matters most was the lack of evidence. Her belongings at home were untouched. Her phone had been powered off since the day she disappeared. Bank accounts untouched, no financial activity. Even her email remained silent. It was as if she had vanished from the earth, leaving only questions. Emily's closest friends were left grasping at fragments of the past, searching their memories for clues they might have missed. They recalled strange behaviors in the weeks before she vanished. Anxiety that crept into her voice during phone calls, unexplained bruises she tried to hide, and sudden secrecy about her whereabouts. One friend remembered Emily mentioning a sided man who had been pressuring her, though she never said his name. Others spoke of a shadow that seemed to follow Emily's steps, a presence she couldn't shake. These fragments, while small, hinted at a darkness beneath the surface. Investigators soon uncovered a pattern that had gone unnoticed. A series of similar disappearances in neighboring towns. Women who had volunteered at shelters or worked with vulnerable populations were vanishing without a trace. Emily's name, once a singular case, became part of a troubling pattern. Was there a predator targeting these women? Or was something more organized at play? The man at the center of the tangled web was Mark Thompson, the local businessman Emily had been linked to. Mark was no stranger to rumors. His reputation as a ruthless operator with ties to the town's underworld preceded him. Some described him as charming, others as dangerous. He had money, influence, and a network of loyalists willing to do his bidding. Phone records revealed frequent contact between Emily and Mark in the days leading up to her disappearance. Calls made at odd hours, messages deleted from both their phones. When questioned, Mark was evasive, offering no clear answers, only vague denials. The police wanted to believe he was innocent, but the pieces never quite fit. Compounding suspicion were the letters sent anonymously to Emily's family. They were chilling, cryptic notes filled with warnings and veiled threats. The truth lies where the light cannot reach. Some secrets are better buried. The handwriting was deliberately messy, as if the sender wanted to disguise their identity while ensuring their message was heard. The family lived in fear. They hired private investigators, received threats, and found themselves at the center of a growing storm they had no control over. But their resolve never faltered. They refused to let Emily's story be forgotten, no matter the cost. Years passed, and the trail grew cold. But then, a breakthrough came unexpectedly. New forensic technology applied to a scarf found near the park where Emily's car was abandoned revealed DNA belonging to a man with no criminal record, but linked to suspicious activities in nearby states. This revelation reopened the case, breathing new life into the search. A retired detective recalled a mysterious phone call intercepted years before, suggesting Emily might have been moved out of state. Federal authorities joined the investigation, uncovering a network of safe houses used by a criminal syndicate operating across state lines. Emily's case was no longer local. It was part of a sprawling, dangerous game of power and silence. The discovery of the DNA evidence was a turning point, but it brought with it more questions than answers. The man identified was Michael Evans, a seemingly ordinary individual with no criminal record, yet connected through surveillance to several suspicious locations along the interstate routes. Police learned he worked as a long-haul truck driver, a profession that allowed him to move unnoticed across state lines, making him a perfect suspect in a string of disappearances. Digging into Michael's background, investigators uncovered a troubling pattern. Over the past 5 years, missing person reports had clustered around his routes, many involving women last seen near rest stops or small towns along highways. Yet none of these cases had been conclusively linked to him until now. The police obtained a warrant to search Michael's residence, but found little. No signs of forced entry, no incriminating evidence. It was as if he had anticipated the investigation and cleaned everything meticulously. Yet, hidden behind a false wall in his garage, officers found a small room, bare except for a few scattered personal items belonging to different women. Scarves, jewelry, a faded photograph of Emily Harper. This grisly discovery confirmed what many feared. Michael Evans was involved, but how deeply? Was he the mastermind, or just a part of a larger operation? The investigation expanded rapidly. Authorities uncovered that Michael was a courier for a trafficking ring exploiting vulnerable women, many of whom had sought help at shelters or were trying to escape abusive situations. Emily Harper, it seemed, had stumbled onto this network by accident during her volunteer work. Evidence revealed that Emily had tried to report suspicious activities, but her attempts were thwarted by corrupt officials and intimidation. Threats had silenced her, forcing her into hiding before she was ultimately captured. As the public learned more, outrage grew. The small town grappled with the realization that a darkness had thrived beneath its calm exterior for years. Aided by fear and silence, families of missing women banded together, demanding justice and accountability. Meanwhile, the search for Emily became a symbol of resilience and the fight against evil. Authorities intensified efforts to track down safe houses and dismantle the trafficking network, working with federal agencies and international partners. Emily's family, though shattered, remained determined to find answers. They launched foundations to support victims and raise awareness, ensuring that Emily's story would never be forgotten. In the end, the case was about more than just one missing woman. It was a fight for truth in a world where too many voices were ignored, where missing clues held the key to justice, and where hope refused to die. As the investigation progressed, new arrests followed. Michael Evans was charged with multiple counts of kidnapping and trafficking, but the full extent of the network was far larger, other individuals connected to law enforcement, local businesses, and even prominent figures emerged, revealing a web of corruption that had protected the syndicate for years. Emily Harper's case became the catalyst for widespread reform. The community demanded changes to how missing persons cases were handled, especially involving vulnerable women. New policies were enacted to improve cooperation between agencies and protect whistleblowers. Despite all efforts, Emily herself was never found. Some believed she had been killed shortly after her capture, her body hidden in a secret location that may never be uncovered. Others held on to hope that she was alive, held somewhere, waiting for rescue. Years passed, and the story of Emily Harper became a symbol, a haunting reminder of lives cut short and the darkness lurking beneath ordinary streets. Her family continued their fight, sharing her story in schools and communities to raise awareness about human trafficking and the importance of vigilance. The letters that had once haunted them, warnings from an unknown sender, were later traced to a survivor who had escaped the network and worked to help others break free. Her bravery helped expose the truth and saved countless lives. Emily's disappearance remains unsolved, a mystery etched into the fabric of the town. But the search for her ignited a fire, a refusal to accept silence, a determination to uncover missing clues no matter how deeply buried. Through tragedy, the town learned that darkness thrives not just in the shadows, but in the silence that allows it to grow. And it was through the relentless search for truth that hope endured. Missing clues. Not just a name, but a call to action. To never stop searching, to listen when no one else is listening, and to believe that even the smallest clue can bring justice to the forgotten.